Welcome to the world of pain! That's right. The pain train never ends in the land of Browns football. Ah, yes, I was really hoping that the factory of sadness would start churning, especially this early in the season. Last week against the Bengals, we had a good defensive game. If it wasn't for Schmitty Weberman Jensen, we would have been fine. This week, though, it all rests on the shoulders of Flacco. Let's talk about the Browns versus the Ravens, not the Steelers. I was wrong last week. It happens. Ravens. That's right, Joe Flacco's family was in attendance on this one. Oh boy, were they excited to see their old grumpy father running out there to get himself completely embarrassed. Oh, isn't that just fucking fantastic? You would hope that Flacco would play a little bit better, seeing as his children, his relatives, his family were all watching this game. Nope. Defensively, in the first two quarters, we were pretty good. We were pretty solid, okay? Myles Garrett getting some sacks in there. Our safeties playing the ball well. We didn't let up any points until the end of the first quarter when Tyler Loop kicked a field goal through the uprights. Honestly, Derrick Henry wasn't really a factor for most of this game. I don't think he got more than like 15 touches in this one. But they didn't really need to rely on Henry because, Lamar is Lamar, obviously. But the first two quarters, Lamar was feeling a bit boxed in, I would say. We were able to get some good stops on them. But things did end up coming to a head when the Ravens blocked a punt. And at that point, you figure it's probably going to be a touchdown, right? And yes, they ended up scoring a touchdown. I believe it was like a 15-yard pass to the end zone by Lamar, which put them up by 10 at this point. On our next drive, Jerry had a nice catch, but we really couldn't get anything going. I think Joe Flacco hates his family because he played like utter crap today, okay? Not only was Joe looking slow and really wasn't that accurate the ball at all, but when he would try to do like a bootleg or drop back the pass, our offensive line would let a defensive lineman come in there and sack us for a big loss or something. Cause Flacco to throw the ball too high or throw it out of bounds. Not even trying to get down the field. And of course, when we do end up getting a good play like a pass to Njoku, we revert back to throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. You need 7 yards to get a first down. Let's throw it 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So now you need, let's do math, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 yards? Brain dead. Absolutely brain dead. And that happened throughout the entire game. We kept throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Either the person would be tackled behind the line of scrimmage or they would just drop the ball, which is better than getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage, but I digress. We did end up getting a field goal in the second quarter. Schmitty actually hit it from about 38 yards out, which, hey, you know what? Schmitty, kind of redeem yourself a little bit here. But at the same time, Stefanski didn't really trust Schmidt when it came down to these situations, which had us go for it on a couple of fourth downs, which I feel like at that point the game was kind of out of our hands anyway, but, any other team probably would have kicked a 40-something yard field goal, but instead we're punting. But in this case, 38 yards out, Schmitty hits it. We finally get some points on the board in the second quarter. So into the third quarter we go. Lamar has a beautiful pass to DeAndre Hopkins, who is completely covered by the defensive safety there. And somehow he catches the ball, but they call him down at the 1. It probably would have been a touchdown if he just skirted a little bit farther up. But no, they call him down at the 1, and now we need our defense to step up like tenfold, okay? And they do. Myles fucking Garrett gets a nice sack in there, and the rest of the defensive drive there goes really well. We stop them at the 1, and they have to go for a field goal, which of course they get. Loop hits it, but very, very, that was a confidence booster right there. I was like, oh shit. If our defense keeps playing like this, hopefully our offense can have one good drive down the field to make this game a little bit closer. But then, good old Joe Flacco, with his family watching from the bleachers, throws a goddamn terrible interception. I mean, absolutely terrible. Too far to the left of Njoku to even try and play the ball, into double coverage with an extra safety behind them. And it was at this point that I wanted to scream. After that, our defense, it looked like it was going to be another, in the red zone, hold them to a field goal type thing, right? Third down goes past. Our defense is holding. You kind of expect them to pull out the field goal unit, but no. They go for it on fourth down. And with a 2-yard pass to Devontae Walker, the Ravens go up 20-3. Woo! All right, now it's got to be go time. We're deep into the third quarter. We got to get something going. Joe Flacco, he's ready to stretch his legs a little bit, right? He's been warming up this entire game. He runs for a first down. I'm like, what? Joseph Flacco running for a first down? His knees can barely bend. But the Browns go down the field, and Joe Flacco throws the ball to the end zone. It bounces off the hand of a Ravens receiver, and boom, into the arms of Tillman for a touchdown. Miracles happen. It's 1 in a million. Miracles happen, okay? We're back in this. 20-10, still manageable in the third quarter. I'm feeling a little bit rejuvenated in this team. And to cap it all off, Schmitty hits the extra point. Good job, Schmitty. We have another good defensive stand. Flacco has to capitalize on this. If we don't, the game is going to get out of hand pretty fast. Our defense is already looking a bit gassed. They let that fourth down touchdown go earlier in the game. We need to have a nice, long, methodical drive down the field, get a touchdown, and put the pressure on. But Joe fucking Flacco fumbles the goddamn ball while he's trying to old man scoot his way out of the fucking pocket. The Ravens scoop it up and score. And at that point, well, it was all downhill from there. What else do I have to say? Do I really need to recount every single touchdown after that? The Ravens went down and down and down the field over and over again, scoring on us like it was nothing. A touchdown pass to Waller. Another amazing catch by DeAndre Hopkins. This time, it's for the touchdown. Magic is in the air. DeAndre Hopkins, once again, completely covered by, I believe it was Ward this time. Couldn't have done anything more to put his body in front of Hopkins. Somehow, though, the ball goes right to Hopkins. And it's at this point, it's how do you defeat Magic? They call Lamar Jackson Houdini, and I guess it's in more ways than one. Not just with his legs, but now his arm is becoming so magical that these balls are going right to the hands of his receivers without any trouble. I think at this point, not only did we see enough, but Stefanski saw enough, and they put Dylan Gabriel in for his first NFL drive. Now, I know what you're saying. It's against the Ravens, second string and third string. They took out their first stringers, you shouldn't put too much stock into it. But Gabriel had a very nice drive. 2 long runs, handed off to Ford and Judkins, pretty sure. And Gabriel actually threw not just one pass, but he threw 2 passes. And on that second pass, touchdown. An easy touchdown. Corner pocket of the end zone. And I was like, damn, we probably should have started this kid, I don't know, a few drives ago. Might have saved us a at least one touchdown with that fumble. That's the thing, when you have a mobile quarterback who can actually move their legs and move their body, get the ball down the field. And I know, once again, it's the Ravens' second string, it's the Ravens' third string. They're not trying right now. Of course, you're going to put Gabriel in because the Ravens are done. The game is over at this point. You're down by like 4 scores. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but just like in the preseason, Gabriel looked good. He looked really good. So, the question stands. Do we start Flacco next week against the Packers? Or do we start Gabriel? I'm going to bet that they're going to start Flacco. I don't think it's a good idea to send Gabriel into the meat grinder that is the Packers defense. And also, the week after that, we have the Lions. I think we should hold off starting Gabriel or Sanders before we get past the Packers and the Lions, because these are two Super Bowl ready teams. And even though the Lions defense isn't like super crazy this year, they're still good enough that I feel like they will make a rookie look like ass. And I don't want that. I don't want Gabriel to start against the Packers, get picked off 3 times, for one of them being a pick six, have him fumble the ball a couple times. Because honestly, starting him against the Packers would be a foolish decision. You want him to start in a game where he can actually start to feel confident. And much like the preseason games and the one drive against the Ravens, you start him against a team that is a bit lighter on the defense. And that would probably be once we meet the Steelers, and I believe the week after the Lions. So yeah, fun times here in Cleveland. Let's fucking go, losing like 41-17, pretty fun, yeah. And I'll see you next week when we lose against the Packers. Let's fucking go.